Hey, y'all, welcome to CrossPolitic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. It's me and Toby. Knox is out doing his thing.
Look at that empty sheet.
I know. Is it
so sad?
The assassination and murder of Charlie Kirk. It's disgusting, and it should anger you in a God glorifying way. Be angry and do not sin. But one thing that and it I think rocked all of us in our generation very, very hard. But one of the things that is I hope happens out of this is that the church wakes up. The church is the church is responsible for the spiritual state of America, and there's not even a low enough grade to give the church. You can't like F- is not low enough. And you see, for 150, 175 years, whatever it is, the wolves are in our education system. That's an easy place to identify wolves. They're transing our kids, secretly transing our kids. I just talked to Scott Bottoms yesterday.
Yeah.
Scott Bottoms, Business Makers Network, scheduled a call with him to see how we could help him. Yeah. And Scott was just going on. He's like, parents. There's been cases where parents have found out that the school took their kids to get trans surgeries, and then they find out afterwards. In Colorado.
Yeah.
And so the wolves are in our education system, and you got a bunch of pastors who are supposed to be the shepherds protecting the sheep and will not warn their congregation about the public schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the public schools ideology, from like evolution. I was just talking to my daughter about this at lunch today. Like from evolution to stripping God out of the school, to transing our kids, to having Planned Parenthood in our school basements and stuff like that. It's a violent ideology. And the wool and our shepherds and the church has not warned the sheep at all to pull their kids out of public schools. Yeah. They care more about their comfortable office hours or whatever than actually warning their sheep where the wolves are at.
How long are you going to play this music?
I don't know. I'm just going to let it go. It's going to die here in a minute.
It's really distracting.
Okay, I'm very, very sorry. It's gone. I just turned it off.
Anyways,
and which is why, after Charlie Kirk's political assassination on a university college campus,
right?
The Democratic Party, I think you can fairly say this: the Democratic Party in general is celebrating this. You look at, Governor Abbott yesterday located 100 teachers in the public school system that he's working on firing because of them celebrating in Texas, celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Right.
The health sector has, I would say, it's the government public school system and the health sector have had the most people fired from celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Mm-hmm. You still have some comedians have done it. One comedian joked in New York. He said, "Finally, we got an assassination to work." Oh, man. That was his punchline.
Right. Right.
And so you have all these leftists celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and then you have cries and calls for. I think there's been 2 or 3 Republicans who've already been talking about we need to heal, we need to find unity with the Democrats, we need to not be partisan about this, that kind of stuff. And I think what they're trying to get at. So Stephen A. Smith was trying to talk about this yesterday, trying to talk through it, and it's this humanistic unity that these good intentioned people are trying to get their hands around. They don't want division any more than my grandma wants division, kind of thing. But they're pushing this humanistic unity. Let's go ahead and roll the Stephen A. Smith clip.
I'm a black man born in America. I know what problems that exist in this country. But I also know there's far more good people than there are bad people in this country, regardless of who you are, what your ethnic background is. White, black, Hispanic, and beyond. I'm in a studio here in Las Vegas, and I'm looking outside, and I see people looking at me and smiling and saying, "What's up, Stephen?" They don't look anything like me. And I don't care, because they're showing me love, and I'm showing love right back to them.
So
at some point in time, We got to recognize, can't just speak about it. Can't just give lip service to when such a vile act takes place. And we're going to give lip service to the tragedy of the moment. And then within 24 hours, we move on with our lives like nothing happened. Something did happen. Don't care what his political beliefs were. I don't care what he felt. I care about the fact that a man was gunned down in front of two of his children who are 5 years of age or less. That he's dead at the age of 31. That his wife is a widow. That his children are fatherless. Because his ideas and his beliefs differed from somebody else, apparently. And then I'm going online and I'm seeing people celebrating it. Shame. Shame on you.
That's Stephen.
Yeah, he's preaching. He's preaching.
Yeah.
And I mean he's a decent preacher. Like he's like
you can feel it.
And there's something in you that's like, you know, I mean, and he's definitely like he's hitting the people that are celebrating. So we should be celebrating. This 31-year-old man is dead. This woman is widowed. These children are fatherless.
And I appreciate his description. He's talking this is vile. This is awful.
But
you know.
But and if you go on, he goes in, you know. But what he's wanting is he says, you know, he says there's way more good people than bad people.
Yeah.
And he's looking out his window. He says, and I'm waving, and they're waving, and it's different ethnicities, it's different cultures, and different religions.
Yeah.
But what he is preaching is the gospel of humanistic unity.
That's right.
We're all humans, and we need to come together right now.
That's right.
We need to come together. We're all humans, and we have this common humanity. And we need to have this, you know, we need to empathize with this woman who lost her husband and with these children that lost their dad. Yep. And later on, his illustration of this is going to actually be football, sports.
I go to the football stadium and everyone cheers together.
Right. Yeah. He's gonna say, that's an illustration of like that. And I think probably honestly for Stephen A, like the stadium maybe is his church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, you know,
sports is his church.
This is where our common humanity comes together because we celebrate and we, you know, the Cowboys
we can cheer against each other and cheer for our team. Yeah. And then after we leave the stadium, we buy everyone a beer.
Yeah. That's right. We're common humanity.
Yep.
Here's the thing, and this is the thing that's hard to hear, is this is what got us the shooter.
That's right.
This false religion of humanistic unity is what gets us violence. And I know that can sound crazy because you're like, no, but he's decrying violence.
Yeah.
He's saying, come on, let's come together as human beings and let's, you know, respect and honor one another as human beings. But by what standard?
That's right. That's right.
By what standard? Herbert Schlossberg, his fantastic book called Idols for Destruction, he actually says in that book, humanism is a philosophy of death. Humanism is a philosophy of death. And this is for multiple reasons. But, you know, anything created that you make your God,
right,
which is effectively what humanistic religion is doing, is making man God. It's saying, we are so great. There's a few bad apples out there.
Yeah.
But we are basically good. We have good instincts. You walk by the window and you wave and you're giving each other love. You know, like that's the apex of this world. Is like, let's all honor humanity.
Yeah.
Okay. That is your God. Yeah. That is your highest standard. There's multiple problems with this. Number one, you deify something in creation. You always destroy it.
That's right.
Because it cannot handle the weight.
That's right.
Of deity.
Of godhood.
Yeah. And so there's like, you know, if you get married and you're looking at your husband and you're like, I want my husband, you're everything to me. Right. You're going to fulfill me. Yeah. You're going to make my life complete.
Yep.
You are going to destroy your husband.
Yeah.
Because he's not God.
And your husband's going to let you down.
Well, that's what I mean. Like he's going to let you down and then you're going to hate him for it. And there's going to be resentment or, the other way around. A man who thinks, now I'm married, you're going to fulfill me. Yeah. Now you're going to complete me. And she's going to let you down and you're going to hate her. You're going to resent it and you're going to destroy the thing that you put up on that pedestal. The same thing happens with humanity. And you know, humanity sucks at being a God.
Yeah.
Like, and what's missing in humanism, of course, is there is no doctrine of sin.
Yep. Right. we're all basically good, as Stephen just said.
Yeah, we're all basically good. Everyone's
more good than bad.
It's more good than bad, and everybody's got a little bit of something, but it's like not bad, and we're all overcoming our demons or whatever. And we are basically good, but that's the lie. But the problem is, no, we're not. I mean, the Bible is absolutely clear about this. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Our righteousness is like filthy rags in the sight of God. The wages of sin is death. We deserve death. No one does good.
That's right.
No one's trying to do good. No one's seeking after God. They've all gone after lies. They've all gone after evil. The heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it?
That's right.
And it's like, that's kind of a downer. That's the downer message. But it's like, no, that's actually that truth is actually what built the West.
Right.
Saint Augustine is like the godfather of Western civilization. And this is like this, and of course,
and the Protestant church.
And of course, and of course, he got it from Paul.
Yeah.
And they got it from the scriptures. We got it, that this goes all the way back to Adam. That Adam was our covenant head. Right. He sinned. He disobeyed God, and because he disobeyed God, all his posterity have been born in sin.
That's right.
We've been born under the curse. It's only when you tell the truth about humanity, about man, that you can actually honor man and humanity rightly. But this false religion that sets humanity up on a pedestal that says let's come together as human beings is idolatry. And then as soon as human beings begin to let you down, you hate them.
Yeah.
So humanism, in the name of human unity, stokes animosity, hatred, anger, resentment, bitterness, and then right on schedule, violence.
Yeah.
Because this person now is getting in the way of my fulfillment as a human being.
Right.
This little person that's growing inside me is getting in the way of my fulfillment as a human being. And I've been told that I have a right to all my hopes and dreams. And so, in the name of humanity, I'm now going to butcher. I'm going to sever the head of this baby inside.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's what abortion has been justified on for decades.
Well, and another word for humanism is self-righteousness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you build up self-righteousness, and the other side, as you judge them, is unrighteous, evil, wicked.
Right.
The division's going to go that way.
So for decades, we've been telling kids in schools and in churches. And at the beginning, in your opening monologue, Gabe, you were talking about how pastors haven't guarded the sheep against schools, against these influences
for 175 years.
But I think it's worse than that. I think they've not only haven't guarded them, the pastors have actually been actively promoting humanism.
Yeah.
Machen in the 1920s said that liberalism is another religion.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
He said he wrote a book called Christianity and Liberalism.
Right.
The point being, this is another religion.
Right.
And at the heart of that,
Christianity over here, liberalism over here.
And he was defrocked and kicked out of the mainline Presbyterian Church in the 1920s.
It's incredible to think about.
For that hate speech.
Yeah.
For him telling the truth. For him saying this is another religion, he was kicked out of the mainline Presbyterian Church, and he was calling it then because he says this is a different faith. You're making man into God, and he says this is a completely different religion. But and he saw it then. The true religion, the true Christian faith, is that man is fallen. We cannot save ourselves. We do not want God. We hate God, and because we hate God, we hate one another. And so God, in his mercy, reaches down. He sends his son, born of a virgin. That God-man lived a perfect life. He was crucified for our sins. He was raised from the dead in order to make us right with God. You can do nothing. It is all his grace. And that's not man-centered at all.
Right.
That is entirely God-centered.
Well, and you think about the garden. The first sin was Adam and Eve. The second sin that was talked about in scriptures was Abel.
Cain and Abel.
That's right.
But this is the thing. For 150, I don't know, for a long time, 150 years at least, we have had the religion of America has increasingly been humanism. Now, the founding faith really was Christianity. Some of the early school books teaching the phonics, they would walk through a catechism of the Bible, teaching phonics. And one of the early ones, it was rhymed. And one of the early ones, it was something like, "In Adam's fall, we sinned all."
Yeah.
And that was how you were teaching these the alphabet to these kids.
Right.
It's like the founders of our country.
A stands for atonement.
But they started with original sin.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's an act. I don't, why do they believe in limited government?
No.
Because they believed in original sin.
That's right.
Because they believed that human beings naturally will serve themselves.
That's right.
Are full of hubris and pride, and they want to recreate the world according to their own lights.
And therefore every government structure, family, church, state needs accountability.
Everything needs to be accountable. That's why you have separation of powers.
That's right.
That's why they separated it out. Like even like Congress has two houses. That's why the president is separate. That's why the judicial is separate. That's why they formed a limited government, because they didn't trust men. If the founders of our nation were great, they were great particularly because they knew that mankind is not great. Because apart from Christ, we're fallen, sinful, wicked creatures. But again, you flip this on its head, which is what has been happening in our country. It's a setup for hatred, bitterness, resentment of every kind, because people will not live up to your standards, and because you've been told that you are your own God. You deserve fulfillment, you deserve happiness, and if somebody is standing in the way of that, it immediately justifies violence. And what we saw this last week with Charlie Kirk's killer was a young man who's got brainwashed with that mentality. I don't know, did you see the screenshot of the text messages with him and his lover, his gay lover? Where the gay lover's like, why'd you do it? And he was like, I just hated him. Because Charlie espoused hate. I hate him because Charlie espoused hate. And did you see ABC and how they talked about it? No.
They said something to the effect like when they're reporting on it, something to the effect something like some sweet text back and forth between him and his lover.
Sweet.
Something like kind or let me find the correct language. But they're very generous about it.
He just said, but basically his reason was like, I got sick and tired of it, and some kind of some forms of hate. You just have to. I don't know. What did he say? End? You guys,
something.
Like you just can't argue with, and you just have to. I was just tired of it. It was when you make humanity your God, when you make humanism your religion, when you make human unity coming together under the banner of humanity. Whenever humanity lets you down, whenever humanity gets on your nerves, you hate it. And at some point, because you so believe in humanity, you decide, you know what? Some of this humanity is getting in the way of my love of humanity. I've got to get rid of it.
Right.
And it does. And so the fact that we've had abortion rampant in our land, the fact that we've had transgenderism growing in our land, the fact that we've had now these increasing school shootings and just senseless murders and so on is not an accident. When you make humanity your God, when you make humanism your point of integration, your savior, it necessarily turns into a death cult.
And I'd say one of the things that needs to happen out of this is, first of all, President Trump, those in Utah, our civil leaders need to be very bold about the truth and about justice here. Because if you aren't bold about the truth and justice, you're going to have a reaction probably from our redneck brothers. Right, they're wanting justice, and if you don't have a strong leadership with justice, it's going to cause more problems. Obviously we'd advocate for the death penalty, all this stuff. But secondly, one of the things I'm so grateful for out of this, especially JD Vance. JD Vance, he took.
I heard he said the Nicene Creed.
He basically did.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah. But he took his presidential airplane, Air Force 2. I believe picked up Erica and the kids and flew them to Phoenix, flew them to Utah. I think that detail is a little vague, but he did take Air Force 2 to pick up Charlie's coffin and with Erica and bring them back to Phoenix.
I saw those video clips.
And Usha and his wife, and I mean, like, vice president. Taking time out of a crazy schedule to do this and minister to the family. Super precious. Awesome. But secondly, Monday was when Charlie Kirk's show should have aired. Charlie would have been in the seat. Well, J.D. Vance said, I'll take this one.
Wow.
And just Vice President of the United States, the most powerful country. Yeah. And he's like, hey, I want to sit in for my friend Charlie.
Yeah.
And his show was really good.
Yeah.
But one of the things I appreciate, besides the Nicene Creed thing, which was, since Charlie's death, how many different ways has the gospel been preached?
Yeah.
The White House releasing videos of basically concentrate gospel about Charlie Kirk. Yeah. It's amazing.
Even just little screenshots of his tweets of
Jesus is king.
Yeah, Jesus died so that you don't have so that you can live.
Yeah, it's going all over.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But here's one of the issues I'm struggling with is I'm kind of done trying to even unify with the Democrats. Before it's like, okay,
were you not even listening to what I said?
Yeah, I was.
Of course we're done.
I don't know what that looks like though.
What?
But I know it's like, okay, because in some states you still got to maneuver the political challenges.
Right, but this goes anyways.
Yeah.
Vance says it well.
So here's J.D. Vance talking about
he's doing a better he's doing a better sermon here than you'll hear.
It's not humanist, not Stephen A. Humanism.
Yeah, most churches. This is better than you hear at most churches on Sunday.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree.
Yeah.
I want to add to that.
That's good.
There's no unity with evolution.
Right.
Right? In the public schools.
Right.
There's no unity with those who advocate for abortion.
Right.
There's no unity for those who grab on and hold on and double down on wicked ideologies that lead to violence.
Right.
And we've been, and this is where it goes back to the shepherd point, is like the shepherds have been so dull or cowards on this point.
No, I think the American church has largely been captured by the false religion of humanistic unity.
That's right. Thou shalt be nice.
Thou shalt be nice.
That's exactly right.
We can't break. We can't divide. And so over and over again, there's exceptions. There are exceptions of faithful men like Machen. That there have been others who said, no, I'm going to stand here. I'm going to tell the truth. And then they often get booted. They get kicked out, in the name of unity, usually.
Yeah.
But by and large, Christians in America, when it came to a point and it was like, okay, here's the issue, they said, let's come together. And they compromised.
Yeah.
They compromised the truth. But here's the thing, going all the way back to the beginning, Adam sinned. God came into the garden, confronted that sin immediately,
right,
and he pronounced a war. He said, the seed of the woman is going to be at war with the seed of the serpent until that seed crushes his head. And so God
gives it a death blow.
God declared war, a war, and he says there's a war going on.
Yeah.
And one of the ways you can read the whole Bible is the story of the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. And there's these cool episodes throughout the Old Testament. I mean, Pharaoh is this snake dragon god who's trying to kill the Israelite babies.
Right.
And he ends up dead. His son ends up dead, and he's drowned in the Red Sea. God saves the seed of the woman, and the seed of the serpent is drowned. And you have head-crushing scenes where, Goliath actually, he wears scales like a snake, and then David cuts off his head. It's the seed of the woman crushing the seed of the serpent. Ultimately, that culminates in the Lord Jesus Christ, dying on the cross and crushing the head of the dragon on our behalf. But we do not have the right to declare peace.
That's right.
Where God has not declared peace.
That's right.
He has declared war with all sin, death, evil, Satan, and all of its ugly
wicked ideology,
bastard children.
That's right.
Okay? But Christian people, now the pagans, of course, do this anyways. They want to blur the lines. They want to, oh, come on, we can all be friends. Let's all come together in our humanity. And Christians need to say, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because God has declared a division in our humanity.
You sit in church week after week, embracing the truth of God's word. You believe the gospel and claim Jesus Christ as your Lord. Yet you continue to struggle with pornography. You feel like a hypocrite, returning to the sin you hate that mocks the God you love. You desperately wonder, is lasting freedom even possible? Yes, you can overcome pornography, but not alone. 2 Timothy 2:22 says, "Now flee from youthful lusts and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. Only by repeatedly running from sin to Christ with other believers can you hope to enjoy lasting freedom. You can live with purity and integrity. Take courage, seek accountability, and do whatever is necessary. Get equipped at accountable2you.com."
Those who have been rescued by his grace, and have been reconciled to God through the blood of Christ, and those who are at war with him.
Yeah.
What in 2 Corinthians, I was trying to find it really fast. It's eluding me, but he says, what fellowship?
That's right.
What fellowship does light have with darkness? Oh, I just found it. Here it is. This is 2 Corinthians 6. This is where he says, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers."
Yeah.
What fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? What communion has light with darkness? Mm-hmm. What concord hath Christ with Belial? Mm-hmm. What part hath he that believeth with an infidel? What agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple of the living God, as God has said, "I will dwell in them, and I will walk in them, and I will be their God, and they will be my people. Mm-hmm. Therefore come out from among them, and be separate, saith the Lord. Mm-hmm. Touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be father unto you, and you shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty." And that's the New Testament, guys.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes people like to play the Old Testament off the New Testament. Yeah, in the Old Testament, God was really concerned about being separate from paganism. No, that's the New Testament.
Right.
That's the Apostle Paul, the same guy who wrote the chapter on love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is one of those places where love has been hijacked.
That's right. That's right.
Like you do know.
Yep.
You do know that loving your enemies sometimes means firing them.
Mm-hmm.
Loving your enemies sometimes means calling the cops on them.
Yep.
And sometimes loving your enemy means insisting on the death penalty.
Yeah.
Loving your enemy, preach the gospel to them. No animosity, no personal vengeance toward them. But love doesn't just let bad guys do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you love your family, and a bad guy comes into your house, you say, "I gotta love call the cops, defend your family." Don't rage against him. No personal animosity, but love stops him and tries to insist on him stopping from doing greater evil.
Right.
Love. So go back to your point about J.D. Vance and the government right now. Yeah. How does the president? How do the governor of Utah? How do the governors of our states, civil magistrates in our cities, how do they love leftist extremists right now?
Yeah.
Stop them.
Yep. That's right.
Stop them. Yep. Incapacitate their ability to carry out more evil things.
You carry the sword for a reason.
Yeah. And when you stop them, when you restrain them from doing evil, you are loving them. You are doing good because you're not allowing them to continue in their evil. This is why, here's another example. How prevalent is it in Christian churches for parents to lovingly discipline their children by spanking them? Okay, that is rare.
10% of churches.
10%. Who wants to guess?
I don't know.
Put it in the comments.
That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe less than that.
Yeah.
But this is a great example because they say, "Well, I don't want to teach them violence."
Right.
Okay. First of all, who the hell do you think you are?
That's right.
You are not God.
That's right.
You are not your own maker. But this is humanism in the church.
Yeah.
And there are Reformed Christians.
Thou shalt be nice.
There are
to your kids.
Reformed Christians who won't spank their children.
Yeah. That's right.
And God's like, "This is the deal. I'm going to put a verse in here."
Yeah.
Like in Proverbs. Yeah. Here is wisdom. Here is wisdom. Yeah. Okay. If you love your child, you will not spare the rod.
Yeah.
If you want to touch, you want to drive you want to rescue him from Sheol.
That's a king talking too.
Right. then
it's not a Christian counselor.
Then you need to discipline him.
Yeah.
But this is an example where it's like, in the name of unity and feeling good,
Right.
I'm going to reason with them.
Right.
We just need to come together.
And give a hug.
And give
a humanistic hug. In the corner.
But that's why my point is like, how many pastors preach that?
Yeah.
Don't spank them.
Right.
You're just going to teach them violence. But it's like you're disobeying God. You're putting your feelings, your thoughts, your instincts above God's.
That's right.
You are enthroning humanism and unity as your God, and you are not but you're not actually loving them.
Yeah.
It says in Proverbs that he who spares the rod
Hates
his son,
child.
which means that when we refuse to restrain trannies,
Yep.
homosexuals,
Yep.
abortionists,
Yep. Evolution.
all this, when we refuse to restrain it, we are hating those people.
I want to add a civil example to your point.
Great.
You remember our laws used to restrain homosexuality.
Yes, because we used to love those men and
Right.
women.
Exactly. And now as our laws loosen up
Yeah.
and get deleted
Right.
off the book, so Bergefell, all this
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And look at the evil that's sprouting out of all this. I mean, look at
Right.
transgenderism.
I know.
Transgenderism used to be labeled
Right.
as a head case.
Right. Yeah.
And as we loosen up all these definitions,
Right. And now they're shooting people.
yeah,
So it's I mean, it's like a number of people are pointing this out, but these things all go together.
Yeah.
Sin is Pastor Doug likes to say sin is insanity.
right.
And when you're in Christ and you sin, it's a temporary insanity, and then the Holy Spirit jogs your senses and you confess your sin and you get rid of it.
Yeah.
But when you're not in Christ and you don't have the Holy Spirit, that insanity grows, and you really do become crazier and crazier. You're still responsible for your actions, but that's why people get more and more delusional and more violent and more evil. And I think that's a great point, Gabe. But the law is given. The law of God is the revelation of God's love.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
We do not say this often enough, and it says this in 1 John, by the way. Like this is again.
Yeah.
It says this in the Old Testament too.
Yeah.
The law of God is sweeter than honey.
Yeah.
The law of God is more precious than gold.
Yeah, Psalm 119.
But 1 John specifically says this is how we know the love of God.
Right.
When we obey his commands.
That's right.
And his commands are not burdensome.
Yeah.
And so that means that when we say it's okay for them to disobey the law of God, we're going to let their homosexual perversity go out in public.
Yeah.
We're going to commend, we're going to approve of their so-called mirages, their fake marriages.
Yeah.
What we are doing is we are saying it's okay. You can continue down that dark path.
Yeah.
And the same thing again, when you don't discipline your children, you're saying it's okay. You can go down that dark path. Yep. You're refusing to stop them, which means you're refusing to love them.
I want you to read our advertisements here. I got a clip that I want to play afterwards that I think I really want people to take to heart.
So you listen to CrossPolitic because you care about seeing Christ's lordship over every area of life, including the civil realm. But establishing righteous laws and a just society requires resources. So that's where Dominion Wealth Strategist comes in. They're not just here to help you survive in a broken system. They're here to help you reform it. Dominion Wealth's mission is to equip Christians with financial strategies that align with biblical principles so that Christian wealth can be built, protected, and used in the furthering of God's kingdom. Budgeting, saving, debt management, insurance, legacy planning, and more. Dominion Wealth is about giving Christians the tools to take the Dominion mandate seriously. The push to establish righteous laws doesn't just need voices. It requires money, resources, businesses, and families committed to active, multi-generational faithfulness and the empowering of individuals like you to give generously from a position of security and strength. Too many people are trying to pour from an empty cup, but Dominion will ensure yours runneth over. I see what you did there, Dominion. Christ will reign and every knee will bow. So let's prepare for that future together and build one of the means to make it happen. Book your free consultation at www.reformed.money today. From baptism to burial, Dominion's got you covered. So book your free consultation at reformed.money today. In a garden long ago,
I don't know where my music's at.
our first parents fell to the Dark Lord's deception, sparking a cosmic war between light and darkness. You see what we're talking about? I mean, I've been reading this ad for months.
Yeah.
But like, guys, this is why we're having this conference. Right?
Like every time we do a conference, I feel like the topic gets more and more important the closer we get to the conference.
I know. School wars. I mean, yeah, it's astounding. But but seriously, the reason why we're doing this conference in Nashville next month is because we truly believe that we are in a war.
Right.
We are in a religious war, and it is war between Christianity and every form of humanism.
Mm-hmm.
It's Christianity and everything else that hates God, hates Christ, hates his people.
Yeah.
And if Charlie Kirk's murder and assassination has not taught us anything else, it has taught us that they hate us.
Yeah.
They hate Christ and they want to silence him. And they hate him because he comes and he says the truth. He says, you are at war with me. You are at war with your maker.
That's right.
And until we surrender and submit, we are at war with him. And there's no peace.
Yeah.
There's no unity where Christ hasn't reconciled. That battle has raged in our country for many decades.
Yep.
It has been prominent in the schools, but it has been prominent in our churches. It has been prominent in families. You just heard me a minute ago talking about Christian families that do not love their kids enough to actually discipline them.
Yeah.
We've had civil magistrates that have continued to loosen laws.
Yeah.
No
death penalty.
The guy that murdered the poor Ukrainian girl on the light rail in Charlotte.
His own mom couldn't believe that they kept letting him out.
The magistrates have failed to restrain evil. Parents have failed to restrain evil. Pastors, I mean, how often is church discipline practiced?
Yeah.
Have failed to restrain evil, and in so doing, have hated their people.
And it all starts with like being soft on your own sin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Being whitewashing your own sin.
Yeah, it's exactly. And we go light on it because we are not honest before God.
That's right.
And because we're not honest before God, we have all this guilt, we have all this shame, and therefore we have no courage, we have no boldness, and we're afraid. So the reason why we're having this conference is because that's the moment we're living in, and we're done. We don't want to make peace with this anymore. Yeah. We want to recognize that. We were talking a little while ago, Gabe. That I think one of the ways this comes out is many Christians think that as long as they get their kids out of public schools, they're safe.
That's right.
And so long as they raise kids that are basically nice and good. That's and it's like, no.
The public school system,
like
the ideology, the humanism,
right?
It's still in our homes,
right?
It's still in our Christian schools,
right? And here's the thing:
we think the public school has been going on for 175 years, and we finally started just small movements,
right?
Classical conversations, ACCS, small Christian school, God honoring movements have just started,
right?
And we think we got this,
right? Well, it was like, but you're sending them out into a world that wants them dead.
That's right.
So what are you preparing your kids for?
Yeah.
Like they want them dead spiritually and physically.
Yeah. And I want my kids. I have my kids at Logos because I want them to leave and graduate and go fight.
Right. We want them,
I don't want a safe haven.
Right.
For them.
Right.
I don't want them to get apathetic where they're at.
That's right.
I don't want them to get comfortable with where they're at in our church, in our community, in our school. We're raising kids to fight. Versus, I think a lot of homeschool, a lot of Christian school, a classical Christian school, ACCS, classical conversations. I think some of it is so reactionary, where they want to have this nice suburban life. Yeah. I'll put my kids in Christian school, or I'll homeschool my kids in Christian curriculum because I want my kids to be nice. Yeah. I want my kids to be good.
Right.
And I want my kids I want to have a happy family. I want my kids to fight.
Right. It can drift right into
humanism.
The same humanism. A humanism that's kind of got Bible verses sprinkled all over it. It's humanism that maybe, gives lip service to the gospel. Yeah. But it's the gospel means war.
That's right.
The gospel means war. That God is furious with sin and sent his son to stand in our place to rescue a people who would be called out from the darkness, who would then join him in the war. I mean, at the end of Revelation, Jesus is riding forth conquering, riding that horse with a bloodstained robe.
Like a good general.
And behind him are the saints going to war.
Yeah.
And so if you've been given kids, you've been given kids to send them into the fray.
Into battle.
Send them into
That's right.
battle. And so that's the longest school wars ad I've ever done.
Join us. Go to fightlaughfeast.com. Sign up for it. It's October 16th to the 18th. It's all the psalm singing, fun, fellowship, jumpy castle stuff happening.
Right.
But you can't miss the fact at how important this moment is with this topic, especially after Charlie Kirk just got assassinated on a college campus.
That's right. School wars. Go to fightlaughfeast.com, flfnetwork.com. Sign up today.
Roll the clip.
What anybody who is listening to me is doing right now is what you would have done at all of those great and evil points in history. What you're doing right now is what you would have done during Jim Crow. What you're doing right now is what you would have done during Pinochet or Hitler or Stalin or any of the other bad guys in history. What you're doing right now is what you would have done then. So who do you want to be?
Exactly.
Wait a second. That's a leftist.
That's a leftist. That was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he's wanting to fight against Trump.
He's got it flipped around.
He's flipped it upside down for sure. But you think about it. Who you were in COVID is who you are now.
Right.
Unless by the grace of God, sanctification, all that stuff. You know, what you do right now matters everything to the kind of person you would have been. You always imagine yourself in a moment where it's like, especially men do this, where it's like, oh man, if that battle came, I would pick up my gun and
I'll be so brave.
I'll be so brave.
I'll be running towards it.
Yeah. Why haven't you pulled your kids out of public school yet?
Yeah.
Right.
Why aren't you spanking your kids?
Right. Why are you not discipling your kids, your family? Why are you not loving your wife?
Right.
Why, it's like who you are right now is what you're going to be doing in that moment.
Right. I also think just a moment like this, I mean, Ecclesiastes says that wisdom is found in the house of mourning. Mm-hmm. And this is a hard moment. And I think Christians rightly feel
sober up,
targeted.
Yeah.
And a moment like this underlines when you see Charlie take the shot to the neck. Mm-hmm. You see his wife, his kids. You see those clips of him like hugging his daughter.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, his dad crying.
His dad. I mean, all these things. His wife, bawling on the show. I mean, it's just all of it.
Yeah.
And but one of the things that needs always underlines when a moment like this happens is your life is short.
Mm-hmm.
You do not know how long you have.
Yeah.
None of us knows. Our days are numbered.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They're in the Lord's hands.
That's right.
And one of the things that Charlie did well is he modeled for all of us, make your days count.
Yep. All of them.
Make them count. And to this leftist point, who you are today and what you're doing today is who you are. Now, by the grace of God, that can include repent.
Yeah.
Turn to Christ.
Yeah.
Repent. You turn away from your sin.
Yeah.
Put on righteousness. Turn to Christ. Call out to Him.
Mm-hmm.
But that he's absolutely right that who you are today is who you are, and who do you want to be is the question. Like, do you? And I would add to that: what kind of world do you want for your kids?
Yeah.
What kind of world do you want for your grandkids?
Yeah.
But
JD Vance kind of addressed that in his show.
Yeah.
I want to leave. I want to leave our audience with two things here.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot more, but for whenever there's a school shooting, conservatives would tweet out, "I'm praying for that situation.
Right.
I'm praying for those kids. What a horrible tragedy." Mm-hmm. And some leftists would come along and say, "Your prayers don't matter.
Right.
We need action.
Yeah.
Gun control, whatever."
Yep.
And this is a moment where we need to double down on not just prayer, but believing in the sovereignty of God over this. Mm-hmm. I was thinking earlier today, I mean, Charlie was a talented guy. He was getting the next generation in a way that no one else was getting.
Yeah, he was winning.
He was winning in so many ways. How he talked about his wife, his marriage. He came under conviction that he needed to take Sunday off. I mean, just, all this personal changes and growth in the Lord. And in addition to that, how he's winning on college campus and so forth. He probably was the key person for Trump getting the college vote. Yeah. Highly likely. I mean, almost 100%.
Well, certainly the college vote.
Yeah.
But maybe pushing him over the edge to win the election.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. But, and you kind of think, man, I mean, imagine how much Charlie would have been able to accomplish by the time he's 50 years old or 60 years old or something. It's like he's 31. He accomplished a lot in 31 years. Yeah. What if he would have been able to do over 30 years? Whatever the reason, we know God is sovereign over all. We know that God is in control of everything. We know he works all things for good. His wife quoted this verse, which was very touching. He works all things for good to those who love him. And so we know whatever is going on here, God decided to tag Charlie out of this world. You know, high five, good work.
Yep.
I got you now. And don't worry about it. But we got to double down on the sovereignty of God here. You know, we got to double down, which includes prayer. Ignore the leftists saying we need to. We need to get into action like they want to think that we need to get into action. Yeah, I think things need to happen. I think justice needs to happen. I do think action needs to happen. But we start with God, and we start with His sovereignty, and know that that God is sovereign over all this. And I think here's what I think is going to happen. This is just kind of reading some tea leaves. But God took Charlie out so He could create 30,000 Charlies. And you're already kind of seeing that with there's something like 32,000 TPUSA applications in the last 5 days or something. You know, amazing. And that's exactly the fruit of your life,
right?
And what you leave on the court, your last breath in this world. At minimum, I pray that my fruit is my kids. Right? When I die, I got 3 Gabriels out there, 3 Annies out there, three wrenches out there, right? And Lord willing, it looks like what's happening with Charlie is he's, Lord willing, his kids will grow up to love the Lord, and then he's also got this organization that's it's growing significantly because of his death.
Absolutely.
And he's got 30,000 campuses now, college campuses or whatever, applications. And so the fruit of his life is, look.
Yep.
And God said, Charlie, I got you. And hey, guess what's going to happen?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
God's sovereignty on, cocaine, or whatever. God's sovereignty on turbo boost throughout the nation, taking Charlie Kirk's life and turning it into far more fruit than he could ever imagine.
This is what God always does.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely true. And he never, God doesn't waste anything.
That's right.
That's right. So he knows far better than we do.
Yeah.
How to use every gift he's given.
That's right.
And he used the gift of Charlie Kirk to its fullest.
Yep.
And has decided there's another gift.
Age 31.
Yeah.
You're done.
And now there's a fuller gift. There's a bigger gift he's giving. And we talked about this on the show last week with Pastor Doug, but like Stephen, the martyrdom of Stephen is the kind of thing. Like they silence this guy who's winning all the arguments and they can't keep him quiet. Yeah. They stone him, they murder him. And the conversion of Paul. Right. Well, but even before that, thousands of Christians scatter preaching the gospel everywhere they went. Yeah. They silenced one Stephen and they created thousands of Stephens. That's right. And then, of course, ultimately Saul. And we ought to be praying for that same thing here. Like I'm praying that there's some tranny activist that's like this massively gifted person who's going to come to Christ and become one of the greatest preachers.
And a lot of people have been asking, it's like, well, how do we replace Charlie? I was thinking on down that line of reasoning. Well, it's like, how do you replace R.C. Sproul? How do you replace Pastor Wilson?
You can't.
John MacArthur. It's like, that's but what you want to see is that whatever the fruit from that person was, is you want to see multiply beyond that person. This is kind of like covenantal. This is what covenantal faithfulness looks like.
Right.
God promises to bless us to 1,000 generations. Well, I hope when I die, the fruit through my children is way bigger than I could have ever participated and done.
Yeah.
I want my kids to be better my son to be better businessmen than me. I want my daughters to be more faithful mothers than me and my wife. And, I want my son to be a better husband. I want them to stand so much taller on my shoulders.
Sure.
And that's the fruit. And,
Amen.
Lord willing, that's the minimal fruit.
Right.
Is like my kids.
Amen.
And so we need to think in terms of like God's sovereignty is real and it's glorious and it's doing something far bigger than we can ever imagine through some tragedy like this.
And I'll just add, all of this is the sovereignty of God is the reason for your obedience. Because the reason why people don't obey is because they think that God must be missing something and they try to take matters into their own hands. God must not realize what I'm going through, so I have to disobey. No, that's you thinking you're sovereign.
Yeah.
That's thinking you're in control, which is just again that humanism again, creeping back in. I'm God. I know what to do. But one of the thing that humility does under the sovereignty of God, that says that God works all things together for good for those who love Him, is it obeys, which is something that Charlie illustrated for us and set an example for us, and follow in that footsteps. Obey.
Yeah. Yep. And I would say last thing here. I'm still sorting through this, but this is under the same umbrella of the sovereignty of God. We talked about this already, and I'm not sure how to push this further. I know it needs to be pushed in the cracks further. But because Jesus is king, and because his way is the right way, we need to, and this is kind of getting to the practical lane, we need to think far more wisely and biblically about how to maneuver politically in our nation.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, before I thought, we can, maybe work with the Democrats, or we can.
You thought that?
I mean,
really?
So, well, we're in a liberal town. I'm like, how do we, get liberals off our back here in town?
Yeah.
Well, you still got to sit down and have reasonable conversations with them, or something, or what I thought was,
Right. I still think that.
And I still think that, but to me, it's like it's changing the conversation. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is changing that conversation with me. Is what does it look like to actually deal with the Democrats?
Yeah.
Like we said at the very beginning of the show, like they're the party of evolution, they're party of abortion, they're the party of transing, they're a party of apparently celebrating assassinations.
Right.
And what does that look like moving forward?
Right. I think one thing is what's happening right now is I think we publicly shame them.
Yeah.
But I think you point out the shamefulness of the things that they have celebrated. And the things that they are inculcating in children, the things that they are doing to our culture. But I think you do that, and at the same time, I mean, I think Charlie was winning the argument. Yeah. That's why they shot him.
Yeah.
Which means there is still an argument to be had.
Yeah.
But it's not an argument. It's not a come on, let's all come together.
Yeah.
Or basically we all agree because we're human. Or hey, you like the Cowboys too. You like the Packers.
Yeah.
No. It's got to be from a place of, look, Jesus Christ is God.
Yep.
He died. He rose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven. He is Lord.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is his world.
Yeah.
There's male, there's female. Babies are humans, all the way to natural. We have to be confident and joyful about who, the truth, and stop compromising.
There's a helpful distinction here that Doug's brought up before, where there are ambassadors, or you could also call them evangelists. For the leftists,
apostles,
apostles, right? They're the ones who are the real wolves,
right?
And then there's a bunch of people out there,
right?
Refugees
that are refugees,
whatever you want to, however you want to label them. But I think they're more hungry than ever, and Charlie proved that with Generation Z.
That's right. So no fake false unity with the left, no fake false unity with any form of humanism, even Republican humanism.
That's right.
No,
which I'm already seeing. From this.
No. There's an antithesis that runs down through the middle of human history. There's a great war between the light and the darkness, Christ and everyone who hates him. It's Christ or chaos, and so that's the truth. We can't declare peace where God hasn't declared peace. Now, are there places where there's a conversation? Yes. Are there places where you have a co-belligerency and you work against some common enemy? Sure. But that antithesis needs to be clearer than ever before, because. Oh, really? What are we doing?
I don't know. That's not what we're doing. The timing was so great.
Yeah, it was.
Right away.
No, right away. I don't know.
Straight to jail.
There we go. Straight to jail. Is that it? Oh my goodness. There we go. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have kids. If you have kids, go baptize them and show up to the Fight, Laugh, Feast School Wars Conference. Until next Thursday, actually coming Thursday, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbors as self. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is CrossPolitic.